Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Jungle Show, aka basketball and football season. As we are here to talk more about Auburn basketball, as we do 52 weeks out of the year every Friday at 6 o'clock live on Auburn Daily. Today, we are here to continue our player preview series, and this time continue with the freshmen. 2 weeks ago, we did Yohan Traore, and today we are going to do Chance Westry, the four-star. Some people have him as a five-star guard, 6'6", from Arizona, coming in and going to make a huge impact. So let's talk all about him and more about Auburn basketball here next. Hello again. We are back here for another edition of the Jungle Show. Excited to be back. I don't know why we're switched. We're usually I'm on the left side, you're on the right side. That's how today is going to be because
it is what it is.
We've never done that before. I don't know how that's the case, but here we are. He's on the left side. I'm on the right. So
does that mean that I'm the host now?
Go ahead. Intro.
No, it's okay.
Okay, we're here to talk about Chance Westry, another Auburn freshman. We're continuing the Auburn Player Preview Series. This article, the massive article that I'm going to write, will come out later this week. It will have the inclusion of three freshmen and talk about what they can bring to the team this year. We're going to start it off. We did Yohan Traore 2 weeks ago. Now we're doing Chance Westry, and next week we'll plan on doing Trey Donaldson unless something crazy happens. Then we'll talk about that instead. So just like we did last week with the schedule coming out, we had to postpone Westry and Donaldson back so we could watch that. So or we could talk about that. But let's get right into it. And to do that, I brought in my dad and co-host again, Mr. Chris. How are you?
I'm good. It's weird for you to call me Mr. Chris, by the way. I'm good. I'm excited about talking about Chance Westry. And oh, by the way, I just saw this on Twitter. Wes Flanagan is doing a Exposure is Everything conference, and he's talking about the 1-1-3 matchup zone. We don't run that a lot.
Okay.
We run it some.
Run that a lot.
I've seen us run it, but we play man.
Yeah. No, you've got to have two types of specific athletes to run on the top sides of that 1-3-1 zone. If you don't have them, there's no point in running that.
Not 1-3-1, 1-1-3.
1-1-3.
That's more of what we run when we do play zone. We put our two guards.
That's true, because it's a matchup zone instead of a 2-3 or a 3-2 or a 1-3-1.
Yeah, I hate 1-3-1.
Okay,
but that 1-1-3 is more of a matchup. It just surprised me because it's not our main defense. So
I agree.
It's good for Wes to be out there doing that, though. So
I want to start off the show. Before we get into talking about Chance, we're going to talk a lot about Westry, what we saw from him in Israel, which was so vital to be able to watch these guys play before we talk about them. That was huge. We play 3 games, again, 3 different levels of competition, and see where they fit with the guys and see where they are in August. That was huge. But before we get into talk about Chance Westry, a little note. It is football related, but into basketball, I guess. Tomorrow at the Penn State football game, the 2021 and 22 Auburn men's basketball SEC champion team will be recognized for their outstanding historic year last year.
Yep. Another SEC title hanging in Bruce Pearl's office.
Yeah.
That's cool. They will draw a roar from what I'm expecting to be a very loud, very vocal crowd tomorrow at the football game. So be fun to be there and cheer those guys on too.
Yeah,
so.
I'm excited. I'm excited they get that kind of recognition, and to do it against Penn State, that's pretty good because it's going to be a crowd.
I wonder if Dylan will have his shirt on, or is he going to go in those
overalls
last week?
The orange and blue striped overalls. Yeah. I think you should do that.
And the Viper sunglasses.
I think you should do that.
Man, he was decked. That's funny.
Gracious.
He's the best. I love Dylan.
Oh yeah. So let's get right into talking about Chance Westry. Look, Chance, he's a 6'6", 190-pound, small forward, shooting guard, point guard. He played point guard a lot in high school.
Yes, he did.
Guard, hybrid, whatever you want to call him. He's 6'6". He's very long, and we'll talk about the pros of being that long here in a little bit. I'll let you go off about what he changes Auburn's defense. But talking about his ratings, his senior year, he was rated 44th nationally. I believe the top 40 got 5 stars. So, I mean, he's right there at being a 5-star. He's perennial, unanimous 4-star, though. 24/7 has him as a 5-star. Everywhere else had him as a 4-star. And then 24/7 did the new rankings, and they had him at 44 instead. A composite rating of 96 out of 100.
Yeah, he's good, by the way.
That's an A+.
Yeah, he's good.
So, yeah, I agree. And he's the number 3 player out of Arizona. And by the way, number 1 is Yohan Traore. So we're just piping in those guys away from Arizona.
Arizona. It's funny. He started off in Philadelphia, didn't he?
Right.
I mean, Pennsylvania somewhere.
Yeah. And he went to Chandler to play
what's it called? Compass Prep. Yeah.
Prep.
And look, you were right to say, so he's 6'6". In college ball, especially in Bruce Pearl's version of college ball, you don't have a lot of 6'6" guys that can run the point. We now do have a 6'6" guy that can run the point. Probably going to play a 2 or a 3 more. But you were talking about them being in Israel. We saw him. He ran the point several times when he was in there and did it well. He's not going to be as polished as some point guards that we have out here, but just to have somebody that's 6'6" that can run that point slot
for sure
and run it well and good shooter, good player. I'm excited about Chance Westry. He was probably the player I was most excited about of the 3 that were coming in. Now watching Traore play,
in Israel, I was like, okay, maybe him, but no, I was also very impressed with Chance Westry.
Yeah.
He had 13 points in the first game against the high school team or the middle school team that we played against. And in the second game, he bursted onto the scene. We caused 30 turnovers. He had 7 steals. 7 steals. We haven't seen that since KD Johnson in the Bahamas.
Yeah, here's where I want to point out about Chance Westry. Good shooter, can handle the ball. But because he's 6'6" and a long 6'6", his arms are long, skinny arms.
Yeah.
He was able to disrupt almost everything that group that we played in the second game wanted to do.
The All-Star team,
That All-Star team. And those weren't bad players. No, those are probably mid-level college type of athletes. Yeah. And 7 steals. And he did it all. He's quick. He knows what he's doing on the defensive end. He's a smart defender. He's able to anticipate and get his hands in passing lanes. Obviously, he had 7 steals. Yeah. So add that to a KD Johnson and a Zep Jasper,
who make him 6'6". Yeah.
Unbelievable, but they're not 6'6". Yeah. Right? You make KD Johnson 6'6". And he's an NBA first.
He was not here. He's not here.
He's not here anymore.
No, yeah. He also had 18 points in that game against the All-Star Select. I don't remember how many points he had against the national team. Again, I cannot find the stats from that game. Once I had them,
Bruce Pearl said, "We don't want to see those anymore."
No, so I cannot physically find those stats anymore. But I believe him to have had a good game, but did not have the game that he had at the first 2 where he averaged 15.
So he had 18 and 7 in the second game. Yeah. So what he's doing to get those 18, he's going to the free throw line a lot. He's good at driving the ball to the basket, getting to the free throw line. He's a decent to good free throw shooter.
Yeah.
And he's also knocking in a few threes. He's not afraid to pull it from the top of the key and can hit that shot. He may not be our best 3-point shooter, but right now, if you made 3 out of 10, you'd be pretty close to our best 3-point shooter.
Need to find a shooter. That's another topic for another day. Let me read the scouting report, the 24/7 scouting report by Jerry Meyer, who's the director of basketball scouting for 24/7 on Chance Westry. He does this for the top 100 players. He goes and watches them play and watches their film and talks to them what they want to improve on. But here's what he's got, and this is pros and cons. He says, a long 6'6" for a multi-positional perimeter player, has a very slender build and needs to add some mass and strength. Has very good wiggle to his game and body control. Has quick feet and is quick off the floor, but is not a high riser nor explosive athlete in traffic. Is currently in the mid 30% type of three-point shooter, expected to develop even better. Does not shy away from the big shot. Is very crafty in the mid-range as a scorer and a passer. Also has potential as a mismatch type of post-up player. Doesn't have the tight handle, but can attack at either direction and adapts his changing of pace at each direction. Actually is the most effective during driving left. Has a feel for creating separation. Has a point guard type of vision when attacking. Delivers a timely and accurate pass. Can pursue a rebound, and most get stronger to be able to grind out the rebounds. Has the instincts on defense to be a disruptor and get into passing lanes, and can guard multiple positions with quick hands.
Yeah, so
that seems like a pretty pro scouting report. Just there.
Yeah, so talking about his shooting, it's talking about his handle not being quite there yet, but we saw it. It was useful against the All-Star team.
Yeah.
But his defending and his passing, that was the other thing in that game, was really good. Better than I thought it would be to be coming in at this level. So his defending, his passing, and just being smart and knowing, and it's going to take him a little while. He's got to learn the offense, just like any freshman has to.
Yeah.
Once he gets the offense down, he's hard to get off the floor.
Yeah.
And I know we've got a lot of people that probably you'd think automatically play ahead of him, but it's going to be hard to get Chance Westry off the court.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a quote, Bruce Pearl said, I don't remember the exact quote, I don't want to misquote him, but he said, other guys, Chance is going to be on the floor. Other guys have to figure that out. Other guys have to know that, because just like you said, he's going to be hard to take off the floor. He's going to be hard to get out of the offense and get out of the defense, because just like you said, the defense changes when he's on the floor due to his length, his size, and his quick feet, quick hands.
Yeah.
So
you want him on the floor. Mm-hmm. He's also basketball savvy. He's played in enough high-level games. The freshmen coming in nowadays aren't freshmen who have just played at their small-town high school their whole life. These guys have played in high-level basketball, and he's savvy, knows what he's doing, and knows how to, like we talked about earlier, get his hands in passing lanes and be a disruptor on the defensive end. That's
right. So I want to go over – this is an article on auburndaily.com. You can find it on auburndaily.com. Just search it up. That Zach Blackerby wrote on back in May. He wrote this late May. But it was a conversation that he had with Bruce Pearl, or somebody had with Bruce Pearl, and asking them specifically about Chance Westry and some of the other freshmen. So he asked Bruce Pearl, who does Chance Westry remind you of? Bruce said, he reminds me a lot of Samir Dowdy. He really does, Pearl said. He probably is better than Samir when Samir was a freshman, maybe even a sophomore. He's not Samir Dowdy we remember, the first team All SEC selection as a senior.
Right.
But he's got that instinct, he's got that feel, and he's got that swagger.
A little bit of dog in it, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that comparison, just the attitude that you see from him, and the hey, I know I can play. Mm-hmm. Samir had that. Obviously, he's not going to compare to senior Samir.
No.
I think he's probably better than sophomore Samir.
No, I would agree. So the next quote, Bruce says, "I think he probably has more swagger than Samir did as a freshman, but there are very few players who would have the same swag Samir did as a senior."
Yeah. Samir, I guess, his junior year, the video that went viral with Samir was the 3-point shot where he turned around and started walking when it was still in the air and it went in.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, yeah. I wish I was that cool.
Impressive. Yeah. And then that Tennessee game right before the COVID shutdown, where he had 34 and like 8 threes. I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to go far in the tournament because of him.
If Chance Westry can develop into half of that in the next year or two, I think Chance is probably here 2 years. Mm-hmm. If he's gone after this year, it's good news because he's had an outstanding year. No, for sure. And it allows Bruce Pearl to continue his run of saying, "See, I put people in the pros." In my opinion, I think he's probably here 2 years. Needs to develop his shooting, outside shooting. Needs to tighten up his handles, like we talked about earlier, and then just needs to learn the college game and learn. Hey, I can defend anybody on the court. Yeah. I think he's to the point where he's 6'6", absolutely, so he can defend 1 through 4, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, he probably could defend 5, just because he's long enough. I don't think he's strong enough, though. He needs to get in the weight room, obviously. All freshmen do. He needs to get in the weight room, and once he does that and develops that confidence that he's already got the swagger for, I think he could be like a Samir was.
Yeah, no, I agree. To continue the quote that Bruce was saying back early in May, he said, "He's got good length. He can score offensively. He can score inside and out. He can get downhill. He can score through contact. He can draw fouls. He can make plays out of ball screens. He's got the size to make plays out of ball screens and be able to pass out of it. He's a good shooter with a chance to be a very good shooter. I think he gives us a lot of flexibility, especially offensively."
I think the key term right there was what Bruce said. Yeah, was flexibility. Yeah, he can guard multiple positions.
He changes the game.
If he can develop his 3-point shot to be a 40% guy,
be dangerous.
He's almost unguardable because he's got the skills to dribble and to use his handles to get where he wants, and he's got the body to take contact in the lane and like he said, go through contact and draw fouls. If he gets in, and I don't really remember. I think he was a pretty good free throw shooter when we were watching him.
I don't know.
You have that?
I don't.
He seemed to make most of the free throws that I saw, and he got there fairly regularly because he's going to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and he's good at getting downhill. He's good at making a move off of ball screens. He's good at going by his defender, so that strengthens the saying that you want him to get his shot better. Mm-hmm. If he improves on that 3-point shot, make them respect you. Make them respect you in the 3-point line. Go right by him.
And we're not, when we talk about him playing the point, he obviously doesn't have the quickness of a Wendell or a Zep.
Yeah, not yet.
But if he can get stronger and develop his body a little bit this year, and work on his quickness, and so that he can, when they come out to challenge his shot outside, he does have the quickness to go by somebody. I don't know that he's there yet, but like Bruce was saying, he works well off ball screens, so he knows how to do that. He's a good passer, so he's going to be able to. Yeah. He's going to be able to pocket pass to guys that roll off that ball screen.
Yeah, for sure. But Bruce was also asked, and this is the quote that I was trying to get at earlier, will he play as a freshman? And Bruce said, "I think Chance is going to be on the floor, so the other guys are going to have to figure that out. He may get moved around based on the strengths of other players and weaknesses of other players. and where they want to move him, but he's going to be out there.
I think he'll play in the 2-3 slot most of the time. But it's good to have a Wendell. What was the game?
Arkansas,
where
Georgia,
where what's his name was out.
Zep was out.
Zep was out, and Wendell had to run it, and we really didn't have a backup point guard. I mean, we played it with Allen, but I think Allen will tell you he's sick of having to play point guard.
Yeah.
He wants to play that too. But now we've got a guy that can come in and give you a few minutes at the point guard slot and can just get Allen out for a while in the 2 and move to the 3. Probably not going to play the 4 a lot, but that 2-3 is kind of his, in my opinion, where his niche is.
Yeah.
And if he, like I said, if he develops that 3-point shot to where he's shooting it at 38-40%, it's hard to get him off the floor.
Hard to guard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think, and going back to what you said just a second ago, where he fits, I think he does fit that at 2 or 3 spot behind KD and behind Allen, maybe even in front of Allen. You're not going to bench senior Allen Flanagan. But being able to compete with those guys, not just give those guys rest, being able to compete with them and get on the floor, just like Bruce Pearl said, he's going to be on the floor. Other guys got to figure that out.
I think that's a really important point that you talk about. It adds competition level, and if the competition gets better, then guys can't float. They can't just go, "Hey, I'm the starter, so I'm going to be the guy," and it allows like Bruce said, other guys are going to have to figure out how to get him off the floor and earn their minutes because he's going to be hard to get off.
That's right. Well, we will go ahead and start wrapping this one up. This was a little bit of a shorter one today because we don't really have something to go off of, but we'll continue to talk more about Traore and Westry next week when we are specifically going to be talking about Trey Donaldson, but that'll come all together with the article talking about which guys and how they fit the best. And I know you.
Nolan, you've got to be kidding me. Put that up there. You've got to be kidding me. Who always takes their shirt off first? It's Dylan.
It's Dylan.
It's Dylan.
Always Dylan. And Zep takes his off. KD might take his off. That might be a little ugly to look at.
Bruce's wife has told him not to take his off ever again, but you never know. It's a Penn State game. It's a big game.
That's true. I think Bruce should. I think Bruce should take it off. That's my personal opinion. But we'll go ahead and start wrapping this one up. We'll get back next week with the article, with the full where each freshman fits and how they can impact this upcoming season, and go from there. Or we'll go ahead and get out of here. I don't know why our Twitter handles aren't up there.
I don't either.
Because the Jungle Show is up there. Okay. No, we probably have one of that. Well, I mean, that looks good.
It does.
We'll go out of here. You want to find him on Twitter? I got it right this time, and I was opposite. Yeah, you want to find him on Twitter. You can.
That's so hard. That's so weird. It's so backwards.
Gracious. You want to find him on Twitter, you can find him at War Eagle Hoops, or you can find me on Twitter at Gray Oldenburg. You can find all the great stuff on Twitter at auburndaily.com or on Twitter at Auburn, the Auburn Daily. Like the Ohio State University. Like that, the Auburn Daily. But we'll be back next week at Friday at 6 to continue the Auburn basketball player preview series.
Tomorrow's a big day for Auburn. That football program's got a big day tomorrow. So enjoy that.
They better
go cheer loud with the basketball guys that are there. So
right.
I'll be there.
Where are you?
If you see me, say hi.
Yeah. Gracious. All right. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. All right.
War Eagle.